writes in. And says, I was going through a box of my old NES games when I picked up one I'd never given much attention to before. It's a copy of Total Recall, but it's got a generic white label with the game title and text that says, please return to Acclaim, 71 Audrey Avenue, Oyster Bay, New York, 11771.
Oyster Bay.
Oyster Bay.
Yeah.
I haven't noticed anything dramatically different, but I haven't played it for all that long. It was given to me by my stepfather, who lived in White Plains, New York at the time, which isn't too far from Oyster Bay.
Oyster Bay.
But he has never worked in the games industry, so I'm not sure how he came across it. Any idea what this might be? I haven't been able to find anything like it online, but my guess is it's an earlier, probably crappier version of an already bad NES game. Thanks, guys. Love the show. This is the point. So Sean should go to lostlevels.org or just get on Twitter or something and get a hold of Frank Cifaldi. If you got prototype stuff, you should send it to him and he can make sure it gets properly preserved and stuff. It may very well be identical or super late beta and not noticeably different. But
he will know. He will find out.
Yeah,
that's the tools.
Yeah, you want to talk to him and ask him about IDAR. He works at Other Oceans.
Talk to him about Oyster Bay.
Talk to him about Oyster Bay.
Oyster Bay.
Yeah. Stuart in East Central Indiana writes in and says, I hope you can help me. I'm trying to remember a game console that a friend of mine had back in the day. I know the console had to have come out before 1995. I remember the controller had 3 buttons on the face and a D-pad.
Genesis.
Don't know if it had shoulder buttons or not. I know that it had a really good-looking version of Road Rash. I also remember an early childhood game with a talking teddy bear that had something to do with a birthday party. Now,
Teddy Rupskin.
I also remember a Star Fox X spaceship shooter and a side-scrolling Western shooter, but nothing more than that. I know that's not a lot to go on, but I was like 5 or 6 when I played these games, so more than 20 years now. If that was enough to help you, but great. If not, maybe another listener will know what I'm talking about.
Is it a Jaguar?
It's a 3DO.
No.
That's
What's the teddy bear game?
Fatty Bear.
No.
Probably Western. Fatty Bear's Fun Pack. I don't know what the side-scrolling Western shooter or the Star Fox-esque shooters are, but...
Oh, wait.
it could be like Total Eclipse? No. Total Eclipse, was that a shooting game?
I was going to say, the Star Fox S game was on the tip of my tongue for a second.
It's not.
I know it's not.
Well, anyway, that's a 3DO. The only other system that had a really good-looking version of Road Rash, and that's maybe being charitable these days, is the 3DO. And it did have a 3-button controller, and it did have shoulder buttons.
I was going to say, it had shoulder buttons.
It did. Khalil writes in and says, what up, Giant Bomb? I'm Khalil from Jamaica, Queens.
All right, let's set the record straight.
I heard last week podcast about you talking about New York and our boroughs. As a Queens native, I can say Jamaica and Southside Jamaica have gotten a lot better over years. Okay. Not as bad as 50 Cent and G-Unit Rise Up era. I still wouldn't recommend walking outside solo late night in Rosedale. People still be getting robbed from time to time, but I doubt they would want to mess with Dr. Tracksuit. That dude crazy. The absolute worst part of Queens is Far Rockaway. That place is fucking rough. Thanks for reading my email. Keep up the good work. All right, thanks. Far Rockaway, Queens.
Yeah, don't go. Pass through.
Have you been there?
No.
Never?
No.
I got a Roosevelt Island email.
Yeah? Let's hear it. Get our New York stuff
From
in.
one Pat Bear.
Oh, yes.
Hello, Drew on the Bombcast. You were curious about Roosevelt Island in 2009. I dated a girl who lived there. Here are some facts about Roosevelt Island.
All right.
While you can take the air tram there, most people commute by subway or bus. Almost no one has a car on the island. Roosevelt Island has been called Welfare Island and Hog Island.
Okay.
Before they built apartments, NYC housed a prison, a hospital, and an insane asylum on the island. The prisoners built the hospital. The hospital is abandoned, and there are a bunch of gurneys outside. In the first Ninja Turtles movie, the secret lair of the Foot Clan is on Roosevelt Island.
Fun fact.
There's only one grocery store, and my girlfriend got banned for swearing at a cashier. She had to get groceries in Queens. And we broke up on the air tram. Those are just some facts about Roosevelt Island.
Well, that's a shitty place to break up. You're kind of trapped on that thing for
Yeah,
a
we'll
little
just
bit.
stand over here
Yeah,
in this part of the tram and
Yeah.
That's why air tram sounds generous for
Skybus.
what that looks like when I see
Also, I
it.
found out the leper colony was not on Roosevelt Island. It was on North Brother Island, which is right by Reykjavik.
Oh, Reckon. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right, good to know.
Man.
Thank you, Pat Bear. Farmer Ben writes in. Says, the other day I was at work driving some farm machinery for extended periods of time, and my mind began to wander. Obviously, I began to ponder the meaning of life, my own existence, the nature of control devices in the gaming world versus the real one. The hydraulic controls in farm equipment typically are set up in an inverted fashion. For example, in a giant combine used to harvest grain crops, the main interface is essentially a joystick that controls the level of the header at the front of the combine. Forward on the joystick lowers the header toward the ground, pulling back raises it. Likewise, in a tractor with implements pulled behind, like a plow, pressing forward on the hydraulic control level lowers the plow. This seemed perfectly acceptable and natural to me as someone who also switches video game configurations to inverted without fail. Has anyone ever had any similar non-game control experiences or issue? Obviously, not much farming or other heavy machinery operating can be done while running a modern video game website, but I was quite curious whether any other control interfaces that experienced were a problem for you inverted or non-inverted guys. Anything?
I have always wanted to operate a jetway. Because whenever you pass that control pad, there's always like a joystick, a bunch of awesome-looking buttons.
Yeah.
They're all like light up and huge and
It's
different
like a
colors.
TriCaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like the TriCaster's control surface. I have to
Yeah,
say.
it's cool.
That thing looks
cool.
It's
awesome.
fun to use.
Those controls are not inverted.
It just looks awesome.
You're right.
color
But it's a coordinate plane.
Yeah, it's true.
Just like the grabby arm in when you get teddy bears.
UFO catcher.
Oh, yeah.
What's it called?
A UFO cat. Because oftentimes it would look like a UFO at the top of the claw.
A claw game.
Claw game.
Okay.
Yeah. I know, Vinny, like for you, it was a lot of like camera control versus like moving a camera on a tripod,
Yeah, you tilt down.
and like also kind of how you think about your head when it tilts.
Like when you have the boom arm on the tripod, you're pushing down to push the camera up.
Yeah.
And pulling up to push it down.
I see where you're coming from with that, but follow the analogy all the way. Wouldn't you also have to invert your horizontal?
Pushing right to move the camera left.
Yep.
See?
Is that not how?
That's where
video
it all
games
breaks down for me.
That's where, so Leisure Suit Larry, I didn't invert the X on because it was like Ratchet and Clank, it was backwards. What the fuck is wrong with you people?
But like when you guys invert a stick or a mouse for a first-person shooter, you're only inverting the vertical.
Yeah,
right?
inverted
I
Y.
do have to think about
Inverted
it
X is for,
sometimes,
I mean, like, look, like, I know we have fun around here,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Like, we're fucking pranksters of the internet. We're a video game empire, blah,
Yeah,
blah, blah.
goofballs.
Yeah, a bunch of nutcases out here. We like to have fun about the inverted controls and the
Silly
inverted
willies.
Y.
Inverted X.
Inverted X is
real problem.
seriously, like, that's the fucking, that's the, like, Liverpool, Manchester of fucking control options. Fuck that shit.
I don't know what I use, but I know when it's wrong.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
So I'm not sure. I can't even answer your question, Brad, of like which way I turn to look, but I know when it's wrong.
The Beyond Good and Evil HD thing that came out recently
Yeah.
could have either X or Y inverted.
But not both?
Or if you inverted one, it would
Oh.
invert. They could be opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to invert
So
X.
when I
You-
inverted Y, it also inverted X.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
That's terrible. That's terrible. Inverted X is, like, seriously a fucking crime.
Yeah.
And I remember Ratchet and Clank being that way originally. Just being like, why? Who would fucking do that? And yeah, that Leisure Suit Larry game, that one does that.
Trying to think.
I'm trying to think of other games that do inverted X, and like by default, and you're like, what is
A
wrong?
lot of games don't even have the option.
Exactly, they shouldn't,
Yeah.
because who would do that? You have to be fucking out of your mind to use that. That's, ugh. But also fucking inverted Y.
No.
I mean, I in real life, I understand it.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, if you are flying a jet, it would have a joystick that would pull a certain way. I want it to be like that in video games as well, to be realistic.
Yeah.
But once it's removed from that, like, limited case, no.
It's weird. Like I will not invert it if it is kind of like you were saying, like a flat screen. If I'm ever controlling a mouse cursor on a screen,
Yeah.
Like a light gun game.
or something like that, then I can't have it inverted. But as soon as it's in 3D space and it's a tilt, then I as soon as it's like an up and down, like moving your neck,
Yeah.
then I have to.
Yeah.
I don't have to. I've actually gotten used to doing it the other way as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Come on over, man. It's great over here.
But it's just weird. It's just
You just get to pick up games and start
more
playing them.
Yeah,
It's great.
I can play games with my feet as well, but I don't want to. It's just
No,
not a
don't
good
do that.
experience.
Yeah, no, don't do that. Let's see.
You know what the problem is?
What?
They call it inverted. They make it sound like the thing that is the opposite of what it should be. Mm-hmm. They should have called the other one inverted.
No, because the other one is normal.
See,
And the other one is inverted from normal.
They lost it at the beginning. They lost it at the branding.
Perverted.
Yeah, yeah, you could have called it perverted. If you want to pervert this view, you can. Barrett writes in. I don't even know what emails are anymore. He says, "Hi, this is Barrett from Boulder, Colorado, and I have to say Colorado. All I have to say is weed is legal. I was listing Brad's adventure to some weed smokeout and had to comment, you can totally get vaporizing pens. They are the shit, almost as cool as the site, and fuck Dave Lang." All right, thank you, Barrett.
What was my adventure?
Your adventure.
I was listing Brad's adventure to some weed smokeout.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
duh.
Thanks for clearing that up.
Jay writes in, I don't think this email is related, but one can never tell. Jay writes in and says, "Hey, this is Jay Malone from Knoxville, Tennessee. Arby's has consumed my life. Stay safe."
Whoa. Like literally, like he became the roast beef.
I have no additional information at this time.
I'm just spitballing here.
I would give my life over to Arby's.
You would?
Yeah.
My life for Arby's?
Yeah. Well, maybe, that's actually a realistic trade. They would eventually take it. Tommy writes in and says, "I'm from New York, specifically the Long Island area, home of such degenerates as myself and your coworker, Vinny Caravella.
Hello.
Recently, Vinny brought up the current state of his hometown and a few NYC neighborhoods, without directly pointing out his hometown for safety reasons, which I'm pretty sure you've said before.
I think I've said. Well, let's
Yeah, let's
I'm just
describe
going to the
this,
assumption.
yeah.
No, I'm protecting it.
I'd like to point out how much of a shithole it's become.
Oh, great.
The local burger joint has raised its prices again, and we have the most red lights in Long Island because the town is now filled with wannabe Guidos.
What? They're not wannabes. They are.
Yeah. Who drive Infinities at high speeds to red lights for no reason.
That's funny. They used to be IROC-Zs. I'm glad they've upgraded.
In addition, the high school that both Vinny and I attended now features things such as metal detectors, security
No
guards,
shit.
and a no smoking monitor who shoos dirty students away from the area behind the gym where kids have huddled to smoke together for years. I remember the days when we'd be able to smoke outside the doors and cut class at any time with no penalties. This all check out to you? Does this all
We had
sound
an open,
accurate?
an open campus.
Also, we could eat at the delis and pizza places across the street.
Yeah.
None of this is allowed now.
What?
It's a police state, according
Fuck that.
according to my cousins who work there currently.
Shit.
Suffice to say, our town has become a pussified red light landmine.
Damn.
That also features a current youth base that dabbles in heroin secretly.
No way.
As a medic for the county's police department, I've learned this all firsthand since being assigned to this suburban garbage dump of a hometown 3 years ago.
Man.
Do not come back. You will have an aneurysm. Do not show Max this godforsaken place.
Shit. Man.
P.S. You guys have helped me pull through 36-hour shifts and kept me focused to save enough money for my wedding this fall. You guys are the best. Don't stay in Long Island if you don't have to.
Oh, the high school stuff that's terrible. I wonder if that's like all high schools now.
Yeah, I think my high school is it's still open. Like, I'm actually pretty close to it. I went and
Think they have metal detectors?
No, it's like it's an outdoor campus pretty much, with like kind of separate, almost portable buildings and stuff in a lot of cases. So you wouldn't be able to put metal detectors there.
Got it.
Because you can just walk onto the campus so many different ways.
Man, that's depressing.
Yeah.
The speeding and the traffic lights, whatever. That's kids be kids, right?
Mm-hmm. Grant in Glasgow, which is in Scotland, I think, says, with the release of Watch Dogs next month and being of a limited income, I'm finally being forced to double down on my choice of next generation console. I realize working in video game journalism makes this one of the most irritating and frequently asked questions for you, but personally the choice seems far less black and white and the information a lot more circumstantial than it has in generations gone by. Resolution disparity, load times, as well as sales figures seem to point to the PS4 as being the better investment, but this early into the generation I'm hesitant to write off the Xbox One. you think the issues between the two consoles are down to Sony's production strategy of being developer-friendly, causing Microsoft to play catch-up? Teething problems with Xbox One software? Subpar communication between Microsoft's tech department and developers? Or is there really such a hardware and design gap between the two companies? Trying to predict the outcome of any console war is a pointless endeavor, but which do you believe to be the better investment several years down the line? P.S. Please give a shout-out to my former colleagues at Odeon Cinema. They are regular listeners and fans. Okay. Hello. So how are we feeling about the console fight these days?
We're going to put the PC out of the picture, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he says he's of a limited income.
Okay.
So he's looking to choose between these two consoles, specifically play Watch Dogs, which, but also to, for an investment for years to come.
That's where it gets really tough, because who knows?
Yeah, I mean,
who has a clue?
That's
what's going to happen years from now.
The PS4 jumped out in a good early lead because it is a better platform right now.
And I don't know, and I'm not trying to lead.
It's also cheaper.
Yeah, it's cheaper, and I think if there's an install base on the PS4, I think people will lead on the PS4 for development.
I feel like we're already seeing people leading on PS4 for console development.
Getting a lot of PS4 games in.
Yeah,
and that's something that would be tough to change in terms of like a workflow for a studio. I feel like
it's stuff that once it starts happening, it all starts to snowball. They spend more time on that version of the game, so that version is perceived to be better, and oftentimes actually is so far. So even if Microsoft catches up, I mean, this is what we saw with the PS3 last time, where all the early PS3 ports of Xbox 360 games were shit.
Right.
And it just snowballed over time.
To be fair, that was a really exotic thing with PS3. At least the architectures are the same this time, but you're still working with different libraries.
Exactly. I mean, the two platforms are a lot more similar than they were last time around, but
still
the issues are still
plenty different.
I think PlayStation Plus is pretty cool. I think that's a better offer right now than Xbox Live. I think with the free games and stuff like that, they've been keeping up with it. Especially if you have a Vita as well. Like that stuff seems to pay dividends.
Yeah.
I think PS4 it's kind of what I've been recommending to friends and family for if you have to have one now.
Yeah, this one's cheaper and has we're being 90% of the same games.
Do you want to play Halo?
On both
yes,
systems.
no.
Yeah, exactly. Do you care so much about a specific franchise that's only available on one platform or the other? Because that could sway you.
Right.
And the differences are minor enough that you might not care.
I think the controller's really good.
But yeah, I think that's looking at it right now. PS4 I think it's the console.
Down the line, I do have confidence that both will be able to hone their dev cycles to squeeze out as much processing power as they can.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the age of PS3, The Last of Us looks incredible.
It seems like the ESRAM situation on the Xbox One is still popping up as an issue here and there. Right. So I mean, there's just stuff that Microsoft needs to get better at telling developers how to work with, or developers need to figure it out, or whatever. So that gap may be closed a little bit.
We're going to be in this for a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
This is gonna be
we're less than a year into something that's going to take 6-7 years to unfold.
Yeah.
But you look at it right now and you kind of look at past history, you're like, PS4
doing all right.
All right.
I still think So that being said, I think PC is a really strong platform this generation. I think it's stronger than the beginning of last generation for sure.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things where
it was not even a factor at the beginning of last
generation.
That's true. Yeah,
at all. It was like
Steam was like a year and change old.
Towards the end of that last generation, PC was the way to go, and I think still is the way to go if you have unlimited funds.
Yeah. Well, he says he has unlimited funds. I mean, he says he has for this scenario. He says,
I mean, you don't even need unlimited. You just need a fairly bigger initial outlay.
Yeah.
You need, you don't need to spend $3,000 on a good computer, but you do need to spend significantly more than $400.
Right. You'll probably spend $400 in 4 years again for another video card.
Maybe. Yeah. Well,
it depends. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe.
But the flip side of the PC is you're not paying $50 a year for online. You're getting a lot cheaper games.
I mean, hey, Amazing Spider-Man 2 is $40 on the PC.
There you go.
Yeah.
Lego the Hobbit's only $30.
Yeah, so I mean,
all these hot games at hot deals. Well, whatever.
Well, no, I mean,
Steam, everything's on sale all the time.
Well, that's what I mean.
Except for the Castle Doctrine.
It's the seasonal. Oh, right.
They go on sale at launch.
It's mainly the seasonal sales, and also if you're really willing to hunt for day one deals on buying codes from other places besides Valve. You can do that.
I will say the Steam download always seems faster than either PlayStation 4 or Xbox One's network stuff.
It always maxes out my.
Just seems fast. My cable. Yeah, I don't know. We'll find out a lot more. I think at E3 to see what the lineups are.
Yeah, I think that's when you'll start to see what the difference really is. It's like you see Microsoft announcing all their entertainment, their TV, like this documentary and other stuff. I just look at that and go you should spend that money on games.
Right.
I know you have a lot of it, so maybe it doesn't really work that way, and you're hoping to bring people in a different way. I guess that makes sense, but fuck that.
Do you use that TV stuff anymore on Xbox One?
I still have my TV stuff running through it because at this point I was too lazy to disconnect it. But I mean, I pick up my remote from my DirecTV box the second that it turns on. It's not, and turning everything on with my Xbox One is still a hassle because it turns on things in the wrong order, so the audio doesn't work. So it's like I have to turn everything on with my voice and then go over and turn the receiver off and back on.
Kinect, huh?
Yeah.
That Kinect Sports Rivals digitized me thing was interesting.
That's a word you use.
Yeah.
Interesting. I think Sony's made grand strides this time to prevent the horrible situation they were in with the PS3. And it's been paying off on pretty well.
Yeah, I think it's not perfect, but it's gone far enough.
Oh yeah,
compared to what Microsoft's done.
I feel like at this point,
it's what I'm spending more time on at this point.
I look at it and think Microsoft is just about in a position where they have to actually be
almost.
And E3 could be a situation where they're okay, we're taking the Kinect out of the box because you guys fucking hate it anyways. Gamer edition or whatever horse shit. skew they want to gin up to get the price in line, or just bite the bullet and say fuck it, we'll cut the price.
It was weird going for trials on the PS4 and then having to care about my PSN friends list, but like for real finally.
Like finally, yeah.
I mean, like I tried. I kind of half-heartedly tried to fill it out more when I got the PS4,
Yeah.
but at that point I was like, all right, I need people that I know on this list.
I really wish you could elect to opt in to have it send your real name
Immediately?
Yes,
As soon as you send it.
Yeah, because there are people on my friends list that I've gotten requests from. I just don't know who they are. I just wish it would just like say like, yeah, no, this person.
It's been weird going through like friends of friends lists and just saying like, oh, we have a lot of mutual friends. I'm sure I'll find other people I know on their list, and like realizing I know a whole lot of people by the handle they use in a really weird way. You know,
Yeah.
It's like, oh, there's Delicious Bees, I'll add him.
Right,
It's
yeah.
like, don't even think, but like consciously, like, oh, I know who that guy is.
Don't have to.
Well, that's it.
Jez writes in, I took this email because, again, it's related to video games in its own weird way. Jez writes in, say, I would like to apologize on behalf of the population of Bexhill-on-Sea for the obtuse and inflammatory nature of Matt the Banker's email from last week. In the UK, bankers are currently viewed only slightly more favorably than child murderers and people that drink their own urine for health reasons, and rightly so. Fuck that guy. I now work for PlayStation in London, and consider my escape from the turgid cultural and intellectual wasteland that is Bexhill the sort of epic triumph that goes down in song or gets made into a Kurt Russell movie. So fuck all the London haters too. Fuck them. P.S. If you think Bexhill-on-Sea sounds stereotypically English, check out these genuine place names from around the UK. Ready for these?
I'm ready.
Yep. Lower Dicker. Upper Dicker. Pratt's Bottom. Sandy Balls. Crapstone.
Okay.
Balls Cross.
What?
Shitterton.
He's just making stuff up.
Cox.
Okay, I believe it.
Not next.
Okay. Upper Cox?
Yeah.
Lower Cox.
Yeah, lower shaft.
Oh,
Crapstone.
Crapstone. I mean, I'm not going to vet that to actually check and see if those places are real. We're just
Yeah.
going to take that at face value and move on.
yeah.
How about
Send me a postcard if you're from Crapstone.
that? Yeah. Here's an anonymous email. Given that everything about E3 is posted online anyway, couldn't you do your coverage without having to go there?
That's funny. We just talked about
It
that.
seems the experience consists of yet another flight, then sitting through some hype presentations of buzzwords and vague information, then trailers that don't tell all that much about the game, then Reggie yells at you for sitting on your backside, then hours of waiting in lines. Maybe I'm wrong, but is E3 something you actually want to go to?
Well, I think like you said
Yes.
before, yes. The
100% yes.
The hands-on stuff is just a matter of how you spend your time there.
And we don't really wait in lines. We make appointments and go around and see stuff. It's not,
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of stuff you can only see by getting in some back room.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
you can only see more of. Or
Yeah, I
what you
mean,
wanna
the
see.
bulk of E3 is appointment only. Like, if you went there, just like somehow got a pass and walked around, like you could play some games, but yeah, it'd be a fucking hassle, and you wouldn't
Yeah.
see half the stuff. And
I mean, that's how I started out going to E3, and it was fine. When
E3
I
has
was,
changed.
Well, I
also,
guess-
E3
I
has
guess so.
greatly changed.
I feel like
it
there's
used to be
still
that
plenty-
everything was out on the floor.
Yeah,
and there were
yeah.
tons of kiosks for everything.
like GTA 3 was the only thing
Yeah.
you needed to get in a room for.
I played GTA 3 in like out on the floor.
The first time they showed it?
Right next to State of Emergency.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
My man,
That was the thing, because State of Emergency showed way better.
Yeah.
And they were right next to each other, and you're like, GTA looks a little rough, but State of Emergency,
I could have
that
sworn
game's frame rate's crazy.
somebody told me some story about.
They also,
having to-
they also showed it off in the back room and stuff like that, but at one point it was out.
the mandate for us or for GameSpot when we started here was to go take that camera. Like your first day was to just go film off screens on the floor
Right.
all day, and then that footage got turned into gameplay footage.
Yeah.
Did you have any accountability? Like, here's your game list, or did you just go around filming stuff?
It was both. Yeah, it was booths. It was hit lists of big games, and somebody would like you get back to the booth. And, you're showing a trailer on this screen at this jumbotron. And, like,
Come over there,
every
put a camera
come
in it.
right over there, make sure you get the whole thing, and then like run back and try and snip that thing out and pin the corners so it didn't look like it was filmed off the screen. Yeah, I think I still considered it. I think it's a privilege to go to E3 and see that stuff and get hands on.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's very cool. I think more and more now, though, some of that show, I do. I don't see everything because we're running around with cameras with different appointments. I think I could ingest more if I were just home watching.
Well, that's always been the case, yeah.
I never get a lot of hands on at E3 anyway. It's
Right.
like I get
You
a little
get
bit
hands on
here.
camera.
Hands on
And
camera.
occasionally, once every couple of days, maybe you get hands on sandwich.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
not after. And definitely don't touch a controller anything. But I think for
I
me,
mean, that hand duet, we got the point.
for me, the part of E3 that's still very special is just talking to developers and people.
Yeah.
Like that's the part that is without peer in this industry. PAX is close though.
Yeah.
PAX is a little better just to talk to the people who are playing it. It's like
Right.
everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I love going to E3. Like, logistically, it's a fucking hassle. There are parts of it that are exhausting, but that's whatever. It comes to territory. Fuck it.
I
It's
think
awesome.
it is what you make of it.
Yeah.
Like you can make a dungeon of your own design.
Yeah, like that's the thing. I feel like people, like, there are plenty of things to complain about, but at the end of the day, like, if you are in this line of work and are looking at E3 and just like 100% of you is like, man, fuck that shit, like, you should probably not do this anymore.
Gotta love it.
Yeah. Brendan writes in and says, recently the news has been making much to do of a potential conflict between major Asian powers, particularly the Chinese and Japanese. Japan has responded by building their military and attempting to change the direction of their economy. If crisis does break out, forcing Japan to arms, do you think this could halt or alter production by Japanese games companies such as Nintendo, perhaps even permanently?
Nintendo.
That's a weird question.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yoshi
hard,
bombs.
I mean, yeah, right. Yeah. Yes, I mean, someone could blow up Nintendo. That
What?
would cause problems. Like,
Like,
they drop bombs,
geez.
that would be bad.
I don't think they're going
Oh,
to
I-
institute a draft in Japan anytime soon and like
I
cut
thought
the
you meant
workforce or
more
anything.
like
yeah.
they would conscript Nintendo into making munitions.
Right. Yeah. No, they're probably not up to that point.
I mean, that's- yeah,
I think
so,
a major armed conflict would definitely disrupt production of a lot of
Right,
cultural
didn't-
things.
Yeah,
Didn't Mitsubishi manufactured Zero?
Yeah.
I won't be a downer, but it probably wouldn't be the first thing that crossed my mind if a major armed conflict broke out over there.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, no,
Like, oh
fuck
no!
Fucking Smash Brothers! God damn it!
Yep.
I bought this console.
You have to go play that Best Buy demo, I guess.
Sum me up. I'm ending this thing.
Yeah, that's right. I'm entering the war
Gotta put it
to
into
make sure
this.
that I'm joining the Foreign Legion to go fight this war and make sure that Smash Brothers is eventually released.
Stand up, hold up a copy of Yoshi's Island, and say, "You see what you're doing?
Ugh.
You see what you're doing?"
All right, maybe blow it up. If Yoshi's Island is the thing we're looking at, like, yeah. Ken writes in and says, I work with companies in the commercial space industry, and I just want to say fuck Russia. We don't need their vodka-fueled death trap rockets anymore, and we definitely don't need their smug fucking comments about fuzzy Russian engineering saving the day. We're taking back the space station in 2016 with a new strike fighter shuttle called Dream Chaser, motherfuckers.
What?
I'm going to personally peel their cold dead fingers off the robotic arm controls and then rip the Dr. Soyuz a new asshole. Thanks, Ken.
Man,
That is some next level beef.
Yeah, it's,
looking up the Dream Chaser right now.
yeah. Space fights.
I sat next to a NASA engineer that worked on modules for the ISS on a flight one time.
Oh, yeah?
That was a great flight.
I have a related email.
All right, let's hear it.
This is Rick again from Manchester. Following my previous email, Brad mentioned the different railguns that are currently being tested for the deployment on U.S. warships, and Vinny jokingly suggested that he'd like to be used as one of the projectiles.
I did.
As it happens, Vinny's suggestion was not that far from reality, albeit in a slightly safer manner. EMALS, or Electronic Aircraft Launch System, is a system currently being developed by the U.S. Navy that uses electromagnetic force, similar to the railguns being developed by BAE Systems and General Atomics, to launch aircraft off the deck of an aircraft carrier.
Oh, got it. Like the catapults.
Exactly. Yeah. Depending on the final cost and complexity of the system, there may be scope to use it in civilian contexts,
Yeah.
such as launching vessels or payloads into low Earth orbit, and even possibly launching civilian aircraft from shorter runways. Or Vinny. So Vinny's wish could actually come true one day.
Aw.
From Rick.
That's awesome.
I have breaking news of my own.
All right, let's hear it.
If my cursory Google search is to be believed,
And it is.
our own Justin Calvert hails from an area very near Crapstone.
Yeah, I think he's from Devon.
Yes. Crapstone is a village in the county of Devon. Says
Uh-oh.
Google.
Maybe that he's just like he never wanted to say Crapstone, so he just said Devon kind of thing. Like I don't say
man.
Long Island, I say New York. You know?
I need to hang on. I gotta send a text message.
I feel like I've heard of Crapstone before. Also, Capstone. They put out the Wayne's World game.
Okay. I feel like Crapstone just sounds like a place from Fable or something.
Yeah, I mean, that's, yeah, sure.
Hey,
Fable's real.
Go to Crapstone.
The struggle's real.
Bowery.
Where was I? Francis in Connecticut writes in to say, I recently made my yearly pilgrimage to San Francisco. I was staying with one of my friends who was too poor to move outside the mission, so I ended up eating a lot of burritos. Is the mission cheap to live in?
I thought the mission was very expensive.
Well, I mean,
it's got its stabbier parts.
It's transitioning.
Well,
It's getting heavily gentrified.
If you're in the mission, you can't move anywhere. It is
Yeah.
expensive to move.
Right, yeah.
So the cheapest option
Is to stay put
is to stay
and hope
put.
that you're rent controlled.
Yep.
Yeah. I was wondering what your guys' opinions are on which taqueria is best.
in the
In San
mission?
Francisco, I mean, yeah, probably in the mission.
In the mission,
What's the one that Patrick likes?
I'm a Cancun man.
There's Cancun,
Yeah,
there's
Cancun is Patrick's.
but El Farolito.
El Farolito
is
is
the spot.
I've only-
There's one of those up near me that is also awesome.
You sure it's the same people?
It's called El Favorito, but yeah, their calendars that we got from them had both locations listed.
Cancun's pretty good.
I've only had nachos from Farlito one time on Andy Deemer's front doorstep.
So when he's having that yard
Yes,
sale?
I was drinking 40
Uh-huh.
of Tecate
Yep.
with Ryan, eating nachos at the side.
Yeah, the
sale.
nachos. I mean, the nachos from
Those are-
Farolito are fucking. That's what
those
I
are-
usually get that instead of a burrito.
Yeah.
Those motherfuckers are serious.
Those are legit nachos.
And there's one of those in Murder Park up near me, and
You say murder?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it is it's fucking just crazy.
Huh.
Just especially you go late and they're just like, I don't know, here's like 9 fucking pounds of meat on top of some chips and beans.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Those are serious
I used to
nachos.
live right near that place when I was living in Katati, and yeah, we would drive up there to that place.
I'm
get
with
super
Patrick.
nachos.
I'm with Patrick on burritos. I go to Cancun for that. Only in
I haven't
the
been
mission.
I haven't been to Cancun in a very long time.
Only in the mission though. The one on 6th Street has gotten to be garbage.
That's right. I guess what
Bad.
they went to, like, it was last GDC when we were at that bar
Oh,
with
that's
Phil
right.
Fish.
Katie vanished for like 20 minutes and
and-
came back with like 10 burritos.
Yeah.
Oh my
she
god.
went there and got, yeah, that was.
Wait, there's one on 6th
That's
Street?
because the kitchen had just 6th and 6th Market.
No kidding.
So, in fact, actually, it's on Market right at 6th.
Huh.
It's gotten worse since then. Somehow those burritos were strange. We were very drunk.
I was not, man. I was not drunk.
Those are good burritos. And then I think the best quesadilla is at La Taqueria in the mission.
I think this burrito truck up the street from us is pretty okay.
It's all
Yeah,
right.
it's pretty good.
Gets the job done.
For close burritos.
Good tacos.
Does the mission burritos just have to be big? Is that the thing?
I guess.
I think that's probably the most important aspect. I think what goes in it is kind of
Everything.
clearly
I mean,
defined.
the stuff that I get on a burrito is so stripped down anyway that like I can kind of get a burrito from anywhere.
That's what the mission's good at, though.
Yeah.
Even
It's
though
just
it's
the nuts and bolts, real
it is
basic
not fancy.
stuff.
It's
Yeah.
like, yo, this is a burrito.
Yeah,
well, there's a lot of fancy stuff popping up in the mission.
I know.
That's why it's-
but Cancun.
They're just legit. They're just, it's like, here you go.
Yeah.
And it'll be good.
There's some good spots up where I'm at too. They're solid with their fucking burrito work. Man, if you want to get to the suburbs and still live, yeah.
Living in a neighborhood with no Mexican food is really bumming me out.
Whatever, man. You got plenty of Korean food and
true.
pretty good Chinese food. And apparently
Vietnamese.
the best Italian restaurant in the city.
Yeah, it's true. There's that.
I left that there for him. Yeah, I give those guys a couple of tips. There you go.
Nick writes in from underwater and says, "Hey Bombcast, I'm Nick and work on a submarine.
Whoa!
The emailing from the submarine.
Hence the crazy ass email address this is coming from. Also, the system we use to type these is void of a spell check, so whatever.
Is it .sub?
It was .mil. It was like Navy.mil.
Oh, awesome.
Yes, it was .water. I've talked to Drew before. This email
Oh, this
seems
guy.
This seems like real, like hastily punched out on a
No
very old
spaces?
system. I've talked to Drew before via email. I've been
Stop.
listening.